1 2 1 2 1 2. Are we good? Okay. Sorry about that, you guys, for technical difficulty. Let's go ahead and start over. I don't know if were they able to hear anything? Okay. You guys, thank you for joining us. Sorry for the technical difficulty. I want to thank everybody who took the time to be a part of Freaky Tales podcast today. I believe this is episode 57 or 58. I'm not sure. 58. So I want to thank everybody who liked, commented, subscribed, shared, and are going to be a part of this tonight's podcast. So hopefully this doesn't throw you guys off, but we're going to go ahead and start over. Last week, we talked about black magic, okay? And I shared a little bit about that. I opened up the phone lines early for you guys to call in and share your experiences, your thoughts, or even some of your freaky tales, or even some of the stories that have been passed down to you guys from family or friends. We're going to do that again. But today I want to talk about something different. And something different is I heard about some type of magic that I had never heard of before. People know black magic, other people know white magic, but I had never heard of red magic. And I actually thought that they were pulling my leg when they told me about red magic. So we're going to touch a little bit about that. And if there's anybody out there that has any type of experience or any type of stories or any type of history in this red magic, please call in when we open up the phone lines, okay? Now, is there any such thing as red magic? I've heard of black magic, I've heard of white magic, but never red. Is there a such thing? Yes, there is. Red magic is described by the late exorcist Rome, Gabriele Amorth, as a type of sorcery that regards the sphere of sexuality and influences the sentiments. In his book, An Exorcist Explains the Demonic. For this reason, it's often referred to as sex magic and is used to inspire passion in a love interest. It gets interesting. Red magic spells can be used to strengthen a pre-existing love between two people, or it can bend the will of a target to make them feel a connection that did not exist prior to the spell casting. I think that's very important because we're going to come back to that. Okay, let me read on. Red magic is also referred to as hoodoo, which they get from the word voodoo, which is also carried to the United States by West Africans during the slave trade. It is a blend of spiritual practices indigenous to the people of the Congos and other African tribes. Red magic is practiced much in other versions with potions, concocted from herbs, minerals, and parts of animal bodies, but especially semen, menstrual blood, saliva, and urine. Yes, you heard me right. Spirits of the dead are often called upon along with recitation of Psalms from the Bible. So now, here's the question. What is red magic used for? Red magic is used to work with the energies of the passion, lust, and sex. You can use red magic to cast sex spells, obsession spells, and similar spells, okay? The reason why I shared that was because I was told a story by a good friend of mine not too long ago that this female actually met her ex-boyfriend. At the time, she didn't know that she was going to get into a relationship with him. And what happened was she eventually fell for his charm. But as the relationship continued, things began to get worse in the relationship. He began to get controlling. He was obsessive. He was a jealous person. But the thing that threw her off, she told me, that she kept finding weird things around her house. Weird things like she would say pennies. She would find birds with their heads cut off. Sometimes even rock pillars or altars. So she began to ask. After 2 years of this relationship, she couldn't go on anymore, so she began to seek help. And somebody told her, this person casted a spell on you. And to her, the only reason why it sounded somewhat right was because every time she would take this person out, everybody would ask her, what are you doing with this guy? What are you doing with this person? Like, they just didn't match. And after a while, she told me that she began to say to herself, I don't know. I don't love this person. I don't know why we're still together. He was very, very controlling and abusive to her. So she sought out a curandero, or should we say a medicine man or a shaman, or, in Spanish we say somebody to do a limpia. And she didn't go into too much detail, but she told me that when the man met her, he told her immediately, somebody has put a spell on you. You're in a relationship that you do not want to be in, and this person has you trapped. The only way that you can escape this is from a limpia. Now, I'm going to read something one more time, because I began to look into this when she told me this, and it made sense. Red magic spells can be used to strengthen a pre-existing love between two people, or it can bend the will of a target to make them feel a connection that did not exist prior to the spell casting. And the last part, it is used to work with the energies of passion, lust, and sex. You can use the red magic to cast sex spells, obsession spells, and similar spells. And after she was, if you will, received her limpia, received her cleansed, she mustered up enough strength to actually break off this relationship. But it didn't stop there, because this person, after he was kicked out of this house, he continued to show up and place stuff in her door, steal her shoes, steal property, steal things to be able to continue to cast spells. He got angry because he found out that she knew what he was doing. And eventually, according to her, she said she began to go to church, and this person is out of her life. Now, throughout the years, I've heard of people say, if you ever want to get with a girl, if you ever want to get with a dude, like these people would talk to men and women, I can cast a spell where they will like you, and you won't even know why or how. They won't even know why or how they even like you. And I always thought that was pretty dangerous. Why would you want to go against somebody's will and have them like you, or date someone that has no reason to be dating you? So that's what I thought was very, very interesting. And I know some of you out there, last week somebody called and said, somebody in my family was casting a spell, and I found out it was this person's grandmother. So these things do exist. And I believe that there's possibly somebody out there watching that's probably in a relationship like this, and possibly don't understand why I'm attracted or why we're even together. Is it possible? And I'm just saying, is it possible that somebody tried or did cast a spell on you, and maybe you need a little bit of a revelation? Maybe you need a little bit of, if you will, of help, or maybe somebody can call in and point you into the right direction where we should go with this. But once again, do your research. I've never heard of red magic until recently. And I know some of you are probably thinking, what is that? We've heard of black magic, we heard of white magic, but I'm calling everyone that if you know anything about this, to please call in and share your experiences. If I've touched on anything that resonates with you, please call in and share your story. Now, I'm trying to get my groove back, because when you have technical difficulty, it really throws you off. So we're going to go ahead and place the number up on the screen, and let's start taking calls. Okay, am I connected, you guys? Okay, great. So let me put on the headphones, and let's see who will call. And if anybody wants to call and share something that they might have experienced or heard, or maybe they are familiar with what I said, let's go ahead and do this. I actually was not even going to go on tonight, but you know what? Most of you guys that follow me see that I posted the flyer late, but you know what? We're here. So depending on the calls, we'll see how long we go. Here we go. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, Tony. What's up, Tony? This is Brad Pitbull calling from the city of Atlantis.
Okay, you know what, brother? I'm going to say something to you, okay? And I think it's important that my listeners hear this. When you call, Do you have a problem getting in? The only reason why I'm asking is because somebody messaged me and said, you always have the same callers. I can never get through. So is there a secret? Because some people think that I'm calling you guys. How do you get through?
Actually, I get through because I call the iFools, and they're using rainbow magic. And it consists of, I got to eat Lucky Charms in the morning, and then I got to taste the rainbow.
Okay.
And then it gets me through. No, but I call right away. I have the number saved here on the contacts.
Yes.
I have it under Norby's Taco Bell manager.
Okay.
My phone contact. So I just call. But there have been 2 nights that I've called in, or tried to call in, and I didn't get through. So it really is. I think in the last months that I've been calling in, there have been 2 nights where I got in. I did not get in at all. So I just call. When you say call in, and that's it. And I just,
all good, brother. Did you have a story, a question, or a comment?
Yeah. First, I want to give you a freaky fun fact, and that's that when a werewolf bites an iFool, the werewolf turns into a zorra. But I want to touch up on the thing with missing people. I know you're talking about magic.
That's fine.
And I called the last one about that. But where there's missing people in national forest, since it doesn't fall under the PD or sheriffs or the FBI, it falls to the National Forest Service.
Yes.
So there's a thing called the Can-Am Missing Project, which is a Canadian American missing project. It's started by David Politis. He's a retired cop, and other YouTube channels like Mr. Ballin or other horror stories, or even I forget what other horror channels. They pick up his stories. But if you want to go to the original source, he's an investigator. He's retired. He does it from his own dime, and he's just put together where missing people and where there are unexplained Bigfoot sightings and UFOs. He just puts it all together. He doesn't say that Bigfoot is taking them or UFOs, but he just says that how there are things out there that are happening, and not everyone out there is there to witness them.
Okay.
And I just lived enough of life to the reason I like this podcast a lot is the last time there was a radio show that I called in was a Tom Likas show. But the reason I like your podcast is because you stay connected with your audience. You're talking about things that are we're on the eighth wonder of the world. Fuck who could build a bigger skyscraper, or who's got the coolest rims on their car. But like what are things that are unknown? What's next in the afterlife? And just these are just topics that are that's more important than selfies or the Kardashians.
Absolutely.
But I just wanted to bring that up with the missing, the unexplained, and the Can-Am Missing Project, and that's it. And I'll be listening, and I'll hang up now so some iFool can call in and
thank you.
Right, tell you his knock joke. All right, good night. Bye.
Thank you for calling in. Okay, let's wait. We missed several calls, so callers, if you were calling during that phone call, you can call in right now. Only thing I ask you is to please have your television turned down. Please have your television turned down. A lot of times, some of the callers want to talk to us while they're watching us, so there's always a delay. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
What's up, OG? Much love and respect. It's your favorite photographer, Notorious One from Southgate, California, and I have a sick black magic story. OG, check it out. I was in high school. It was like 2010. I was living with my parents in a property that has 3 units. We lived in the front, and right behind us there was a 2-story, apartment or whatever, right? Some old lady moved in with her son and her daughter. The lady was maybe it looked like she was in her 60s, older lady, and her son was in her 30s, daughter maybe in her 30s too. it started off cool. Suddenly, she kept saying like, "Yo, I keep seeing ghosts. I see a guy. I see a little girl." Like out the blue, she keeps saying that. I guess she'll see the dead, right? But we didn't think nothing of it. We just respected it, whatever. And then I was with my mom. I guess that lady, my mom being the manager of the property, the lady told my mom, "Hey, check it out. I have a plumbing issue. I guess the ceiling is leaking. Can you come check it out?" For whatever reason, my mom was like, "Hey, like, come through with me. Let's go check it out." As soon as I step inside the house, dog, I see nothing but upside down crosses written all along the ceiling up top. Upside down crosses. And there was monkeys everywhere. And every monkey or every upside down cross that I seen had an eye right on top of it. I'm not lying to you. Like, as soon as I went in there, like the pressure felt weird, dog. Like I was walking into like, I don't know, I feel like heavy. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm seeing this and we're like, what the fuck? Me and my mom were just tripping balls. So we get out and we knew not to mess with them.
Yeah.
Whatever, we kept living, we kept going, right? And then I guess my mom ends up selling them like a mini fridge. She gives them a mini fridge and I guess they didn't pay up. My mom is kind of hood, like, she's from the hood, so I guess despite seeing what we see, I guess my mom, like later on, my mom presses the lady like, "Hey man, like if you don't give me my money, like give me back my fucking fridge." So they kind of got into an altercation, argument.
Yes.
And the lady was like, "Okay, you want your fridge? Fuck it." She gives us a fridge, and I'm the one that gets the mini fridge, brings it inside the house. We turn on the lights, and there's oil crosses, like oil, like with oil, and they're upside down crosses all around that fucking fridge. So my mom starts freaking out. She calls her dad, which is a pastor, and she just starts crying. I don't know. Point, it was some crazy shit, right? It had to do with black magic. Wow. The freaky part is they moved out, right? Real quick. They moved out out the blue. They moved out, and then one day there was a lady. She came walking with no emotion. Like she had like her face was so blank, but she just came like a robot, pretty like a lifeless body. She walked to the back, was knocking. And then next thing you know, she came to the front. And obviously, me being the biggest brother, I opened the door and I was like, "What's going on?" And no emotion, OG in her face, nothing, blank. She says, "Hey, do you know where they're at?" And I was like, "No, I don't." She goes, "Okay, well, tell them that he's here and he's coming."
Wow.
And again, and the necklace that she had was the same cross with an eyeball on top. So, I mean, that's the only black magic story I have. I know for sure, I wasn't tripping what I seen, so I just want to tell you, and I don't know if you ever heard anything similar to this.
No, you know what, but have you ever looked it up, what the meaning of the upside down cross with the eye on it means?
Honestly, man, I'm like, I was so freaked out that I just like, I kind of want to like, I want to forget about it, but it just stays in my mind heavy. Because like I said, I walked into this apartment, there's upside down crosses all along the ceiling, like everywhere, like black. The wall was white, but the crosses were black. And she had about like 4 monkeys, and like little monkeys. And that monkey, all of them, they had like a necklace on it, and again, it had that chain with the upside down eyeballs, like with the one eyeball right on top of the cross.
Now, when you say monkey, are you talking about like real monkeys?
No, well, like maybe like a statue, pretty much. Like she has statues of monkeys. So I'm walking in, there's upside down crosses all along the wall. She has about 4 different monkeys, and like I said, that and each monkey has an upside down cross on top with an eyeball, like right on that chain. And fast forward to the lady that came knocking with no emotion, I noticed that same necklace. Like, oh shit, like she has that same upside down cross with an eyeball. And she said it with no emotion. "Are they here?" And I said, "No, what are we talking about?" She said, "Okay, well, just tell them that he's here and he's coming."
Wow.
I don't know who the fuck she was talking about, but she said it like that. "He's here and he's coming." And then she walked away, and I was like, man, what the, I don't know what was going on.
And what city was this in?
This is Southgate. This is Southgate, California, my hometown. This was like 2010, 11. Wow. Yeah, man. And like I said, and it was crazy. And look, real quick, like just because it's spiritual. So she was that lady before everything happened. She kept saying she'll see the dead, right? Mm-hmm. my family on my mom's side used to live in that same property 10 years before we did. My mom's side. So my mom's sister had a daughter, which is my little cousin. But my little cousin, she used to have an imaginary friend, right? And she used to always play with her, and she used to describe this little girl that she had a white dress, and she used to always play with her. OG, this lady, years later, was describing the little girl the same fucking way. It's a little girl with a white dress. She stays right there on those stairs. She always goes up and down the stairs, and that's all she does. And even talking about it right now gives me chills, because I'm like, what the fuck? There's two people that never... Cousin 10 years ago would talk about a little girl that will always play in the stairs. This old lady that does whatever fucking black magic she was doing is describing the same little girl. Same thing, with the same dress, same shit on her hair. She got the socks, like everything the same.
Yes.
And I was like, man, this shit is fucking crazy. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I just thought that, I don't know, it's a story that I've been holding on to for a long time, and I mean, who better to tell it than on Freaky Tales,
Thank you. We greatly appreciate you sharing that, man. Thank you. Have a blessed night.
All right, OG, man. You have a good night, okay?
Wow, that was a good one. So far, they've been good. Once again, the topic that we touched on today when we opened the show was red magic. I know a lot of you guys weren't able to hear me. We were having technical difficulty, but anybody knows anything about red magic, call in, or just call in to share your freaky tale. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Tony? Hey, this is Showbiz Cash, and I'm in Calabasas.
From Calabasas?
You got it.
Okay. What's good, my brother? How you doing tonight, man? Thank you for taking the time.
Okay. Yeah, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Love the show.
Thank you. Do you have a story or a question?
Yes. Yeah, no, in regards to the red magic.
Yes.
I do know a little bit about it from what I've heard. Is the reason why sex is such a big part of it is because the orgasm is what we as humans use to procreate. So when it comes to them, they look at it like they're using the orgasm to manifest their desires. I do know that it's supposed to be used for good. So the intentions are not like black magic where it's making somebody love you against their will or putting a curse on somebody. But I do know that sex magic is used in a way where not even necessarily does the person have to orgasm. They just bring themselves up to the point of explosion. And with that, they use the power that we have within us to create whatever desire that person might have or desires.
Interesting. And how did you come across this information? Like how do you know about this?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Did you hear my question?
Go ahead. Say that again.
I said, how did you come across this information? Like how do you know about this?
Well, I do a lot of research on a lot of New Age, practices and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I mean, New Age is a little different. It has a bad rap because a lot of people think that it's just praying to crystals and stuff like that. A lot of it isn't that. A lot of it has to do with more or less realizing that we're more powerful than we're led to believe. And that's the reason why there's such a big battle for our minds. Because, the way that a lot of people look at it is like, if they own your mind, then they definitely own you. Hence, there's a lot of people fighting on this side or that side, fighting for this cause or that cause. And meanwhile, forgetting that, you know, they know as long as they keep our vibration low, we're not going to be able to manifest those positive desires. We're always going to be manifesting negative because that's what our energy is pretty much focused on. So with sex magic, they focus their energies on love and on the orgasm. And with that, they're hoping to manifest whatever it is that they want to manifest. But it's a big thing now. I think there's something on Netflix as well.
Okay. And what is that on Netflix that we can watch? Is it called Sex Magic?
I think it's something like that. Yeah, it's called like Sex Magic or something like that.
Okay. So interesting. I'm glad you provided us with that info. Let me ask you this, caller. Do you practice any of this stuff? Like any of the you mentioned New Age, that you read a lot of New Age things. Is there any of that you practice?
I consider myself Christian.
Okay.
But I do believe in, you know, like everybody else, you know, you get what you put out. Yes. So in essence, I do believe in manifestation. So I guess in that sense, yes, I do, because I mean, if we believe we get what we put out,
yes,
then I mean, I'm always trying to put out positivity. You know, I'm always trying to build great relationships, and the only way that I know I can manifest that is by focusing on myself first and foremost.
Right.
And working on myself, bettering myself.
Right.
And I know with that being said, I know that I don't have anybody else to blame but myself. So instead of being so responsive and reactive, I give myself a couple seconds to think before I answer a question, because I want to make sure that I let it soak in and I don't make a mistake of answering something without thinking first.
Right.
So.
Right. All good, man. Thank you for calling in and sharing that, man. I greatly appreciate it. I think that was very, very informative.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man. I love the show.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care. And once again, great calls. Caller, your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, what's up, my man Tony A?
How you doing, sir?
Hey, bro, just not too bad, bro. Just want to send just positive vibes to you, bro. I love what you're doing with the freaky tales, dog. And man, I know you expected for me to say a story, bro, but I'm trying to hear one of your stories, bro.
Well, I've already shared a lot of stories. I don't know if you ever heard me share one about where I saw this. I don't know. Some people call it a shadow person. Some people call it, a demon. Whatever it may be, I'll just give it to you in a nutshell because I shared it maybe 20, 30 episodes ago. I was at a park with a friend, a buddy of mine, and we were just drinking some beers, and it was just pitch black. We were sitting there in his van, and I'm getting a little buzz. He's getting a little buzz. Now, throughout my years of growing up, I've always seen things and that's why I started this paranormal podcast, because I've always seen things. I've always dreamt things and experienced a lot of things, but this one was probably one of the freakiest. This thing stood up like a man, probably maybe about, if I had to guess, between 6'2" to 6'5", but it was big, like a gorilla almost. I'm not saying it was a gorilla, but just the silhouette shape, but it was standing up straight up like a man, something real big and husky. And it was darker than the blackness in the park. We were in the parking lot and we were looking straight ahead. And this thing was just so dark. And it just kept getting closer and closer and closer. So I turned around and looked at my buddy, and I noticed that he kept focusing on the same thing. But I'm thinking maybe I'm the only one seeing it. So by the time I turned around and I looked at it again, it was maybe 10 feet away from us now. And it was walking very, very slow. And he finally tells me, "Tone, what are you waiting for? Let's get out of here." And I said, "You see it?" He says, "Yes, man." He turns around and looks at me. He was scared. And he says, "Yes, man." So as I turned it on, He looked straight, and he said that he saw it right here, standing at his window. And he freaked out. He yelled. And I said, what happened? He goes, it was just right here. So I looked in the mirror, my review mirror, and he, whatever it was, ran. I saw it as well. I drove him home to Gardena where he lived. All of a sudden it started thundering and it started raining really, really hard. And that's what really freaked me out because it was thundering really, really bad. So we're just sitting in here and he's like, you know what, man, can you walk me? We're in our 20s. I'm probably about 28 at the time. And he's like, can you walk me to my door? Because I'm terrified, bro. And I said this, I'm not walking into your door. I'll pull up to your door. You can get out. Okay, cool. So we're sitting there and I'm like, go ahead and get out, man. He goes, man, I don't want to get out. I don't want to get out. As I looked at my mirror, it had followed us. It was behind us. And I told him, it's behind us, bro. It's behind us. We took off, took a couple of drives around the block. When we came back, we felt safe. It wasn't following us, whatever it was. Walked him to his door, ran back to my car, and went home. To this day, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a person. It was a shadow because this thing was too big and it was too fast, like really, really fast. If it stood right next to him, it disappeared. But when I saw him in my mirror, it ran really, really quick. So this thing, whatever it was not human. I've told people this story and they've told me, oh, you witnessed a demon. Some people say, no, it was a shadow person. Some people say, no, it was just a spirit.
That's fucking crazy, Tony.
Yeah, so that is probably one of the...
Are you sure were you naive? It's probably a naive fool chasing you and shit.
Yeah, that's what some people have said too, but I don't believe them.
No, you're crazy. Hey, much love though, Tony, bro. Hey, the Mona Lisa's a motherfucking man, and the naive fools are waiting in line to kick it with the Dalai Lama, bro. Much love to you, Tony.
Thank you, my bro. Have a blessed one. Wow. You know, he shouldn't be called Dalai Lama anymore. He should be called Dalai Lengua. Because that guy right there is unbelievable. Now, that's a freaky guy. That's a freaky guy. So, all right, callers, let's call in. Depending on the calls. Okay, let's go. Caller, your name, where are you calling from?
Hey, Tony. This is Angel in Sun Valley. And thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, Angel, for calling in.
So, as far as the black magic, I have a similar experience story.
Yes.
Where one day, this was like 23 years ago. This was like in the year 2000. Two friends and I, we drove to here in the San Fernando Valley. We drove to an area where it's woods because we're gonna hang out by the creek, a little river.
Yes.
Just hang out, smoke some pot, drink booze, and so we get there. Late evening, we go down to the creek, we hang out. It gets dark. It's nighttime now, and we start to head back. Keep in mind, this is like a woods area by the creek, so there's no street lamps. It's pitch dark. Just the moonlight above.
Yes.
So as we're walking back to the car, we come across, we see in front of us smoke that was going up in the air, like floating up in the air. And we come across it and we look down and we see two females. There was two women there and they were puffing on they looked like they were on long wooden sticks looking, and it was lit and they were puffing it and blowing the smoke. So my friend and I, we pulled to the side, we walked off to the side. But my other friend, the curious one, walked up to the woman and asked them, what are you doing? And one of the women said, for every puff we take, we're cursing people. So we're like, whoa,
Yeah.
So, we left. And, now, whatever they were doing, that practice, ritual, whether it's effective, whether it does affect people that they're supposedly cursing, who knows? But, and it never occurred to me to think that people do that, but I saw with my eyes, and
yes.
So you'll be surprised that it could be someone, it could be an individual in your community, on your street or even a nearby neighbor that does things like that, those practices, rituals, which she was saying that putting curses on a person or people, and it happens.
Yes, I truly do believe that. There are people that you may know, and when I say you, I say that in general, that you may know that practice a lot of these things, and we don't even know it. Because they hide it very, very well. Somebody in a high place, and when I say a high place in the music industry, one day told me that the Satanists, you're not going to find them in black hoodies having orgies. He said they're judges, they're lawyers, they're police officers, etc. And I was like, wow. And I'll be honest with you, it made sense to me. It made sense to me. So, yeah, but caller, I don't know if that was it, or you have anything else to share?
If I could say something quick.
Yes, sir.
Not the last caller, but the caller before that, the one that mentioned something about he had a little he got his little fridge back and he saw things, and he mentioned the upside down cross. Well, with Trip Out, I have a friend that back in the day, about 15 years ago, she used to go get her hands to read her hands, hand reader,
right?
Where they read the palm of their hand, like tarot reader, palm reader, yeah. So she knew a lady, and she would go to her on a weekly basis, and then she would tell me and my girlfriend at the time, she would tell us about it, like, hey, you want to go? We'll be like, nah. Like, we just always said no. And then one day, my girlfriend told her, why you keep going, to that lady? And so one day, for whatever reason, my friend stops going to that palm reader.
Yes. And
she said that soon after, like the very next day, a couple of days later, when she opened her window, there was an image of a cross, but it was scribed. Like they scribed it, like let's say with a key, or they scribed it on the window, a cross, upside down cross. And she said that it had salt over it. So I'm guessing whoever did that maybe put glue over the scribe, and then I guess for the salt to stick on.
Yes.
But that's what she saw on her window. That's what appeared on her window, and she said it was right after she cut off that palm reader. So I don't know if those palm readers or tarot readers, whatever, if they're also, they could, things like that, like what the topic is, black magic.
Yes. So I guess
spells and stuff like that.
Yeah, the coincidence was that after she cut off the palm reader, all of a sudden that appears.
Yeah, that's why she suspected that it was that lady, because it happened soon after, like within a day or two.
Yes.
And I guess it was the lady just mad because she got cut off, and so they do their belief things, practices, rituals, whatever, But that's what I want. That's what I called in for. Again, thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate you
calling in. Yeah. All right, Tony.
Have a blessed one, bro. Thank you.
You have a good.
Thank you, callers. Greatly appreciate it. Very, very interesting calls tonight, honestly. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time and calling in. If anybody has anything you want to touch on, somebody touched on the red magic, which sometimes is called sex magic. Anything like that, please call in. If you have a story that has been in your family, something possibly you've experienced, anything you just want to ask me, call in. Like I said, depending on how many calls we get, depending on how long the show is going to go. So, but once again, tonight I wasn't going to go live. I decided to go at the last minute, but I'm thankful I did. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
What up, Tony? This is Jay from Arizona.
Jay from Arizona, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing? I'm a big fan since day one.
Thank you, my bro. You know what?
I wanted to mention, man, about Oh, I'm sorry. What was it?
Oh, no. I'm saying I'm trying to go on every Friday for you guys because I know a lot of you guys have been asking me.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah.
You got it.
I just wanted to mention something about the red magic.
Yes.
It's also black magic as well,
Okay.
It's still considered black magic because if you do like an amarre, like on a person, you still work in the black magic, but it's called, a trabajo rojo, like a love spell. So you pretty much do it on a person for you lose your ex or you like someone. You break them up. You hook this person up, with picture, name, all that stuff, birthday,
Yes.
stuff like that. A little bit of candle work here and there, and what the right people.
Yeah.
It works, man. It works.
And let me ask you this: from what you know, I'm not an expert on this, so even I myself like to ask questions.
I've been to a lot of people, man. To be honest, different people that work in different ways.
Yeah.
They work.
My
they do.
Yes.
They do work like that. Some people work with this type of entity. This other person works, with these other entities. This other people works with, voodoo and Paranormal, stuff like that,
Yeah. Yeah. But my question is
I would love to go on your podcast, man, to be honest, because, man, I got stories. I've seen things, man.
Well, why don't you share one?
Okay. So, about the magic stuff.
Anything
the
you
red
like.
magic,
Yeah.
sex magic. Okay, so I had a girlfriend, and she was quite spiritual, into mushrooms. She did, bathed naked under the moon, the full moon water the next day, stuff like that, So we met online. We started talking, and she was like, let's meet up one night. We met up one night. We liked each other. We smoked a little bit. And, we ended up sleeping with each other.
Yeah.
The next morning, she giggled. She hugged. And she whispered in my ear, ha, 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 ha. The sex magic worked. I was like, oh, what? She's like, ha, ha, ha. And I was like, yep. That's a quick little story, man.
So she said the sex magic works, so she wanted you then. And she did something to have you.
Yeah,
Wow.
she was pretty spiritual like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess as long as
she worked a little bit of magic here and there, but I knew she was into,
Right.
things like that,
And that didn't bother you that she was into that stuff?
I'm into stuff like that too.
Okay.
So, it didn't bother me because I knew what to expect from this person.
You mentioned right now that you are into some of that stuff too. Can you kind of share what you're into?
Yeah, not to go into too much.
Okay.
I'm into, protection, go with the right person, my person, and any type of work,
Okay.
It works. That's all I gotta say, man. It works, and
Have you done anything on anybody lately?
You always got to be doing something. You got to be protecting yourself from other people. You got to be, doing little work here and there,
Yeah.
But it's nothing bad. Nothing bad at all.
Okay.
Mostly, plans if that, baths and stuff like that.
All good, man.
A lot of stuff is like pretty detailed,
Yeah.
I would love to go on your podcast to explain in detail about everything that I've been through,
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
through these
Why don't you reach me
religious things.
Why don't you reach me on Instagram, DM me, and maybe we can set that up.
I'm not too far away. I'm actually 5 hours away.
Right, I understand. So just reach out to me, and we'll try to make that happen.
I'll go into more detail through the message because, you know.
Okay. Great.
It's pretty interesting, man. And I mean, do you have people under that, like before the Lady Two Bear?
Yes.
What was her name? Yeah, right. Lady, right?
Yes.
The lady, yeah, she explained everything to the point.
Right.
To the point. I mean, she does it all. When she explained, that was to the point.
Awesome. But listen, get in contact with me.
So I'm very thankful, man.
Yes, bro. Thank you for calling
I love
in.
this podcast, man. Very thankful, man.
Appreciate you, homie. Thank you. Take care.
All right, man. Thank you.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, callers, let's see. Let's keep it going, you guys. Very, very interesting call. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who is calling in. And very, very interesting. Okay, let's see. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Tony? It's Chito from Ontario.
Chito from Ontario. How you doing tonight?
Oh, no, Vitalia.
Oh, Visalia.
Yeah, sorry about that, bro. I don't know if you can hear clearly, bro. I'm on the road right now. Driving a semi. Ahorita.
Yeah, I can kind of hear you. So, yeah, that's fine. You got a question or a story you want to share?
Well, I got two quick stories, bro. That's all right.
That's fine.
But I'll start with the kind of scary one at first, bro. I remember this was a couple years ago, bro, and I remember it was on Thanksgiving Day, bro. Me and my homeboy went to go fucking up here, bro. It's like a small town. So one of the kicking spots was a cemetery, bro.
Yes.
And we'd be going there for years, bro. Like all my boys and like pretty much everybody from town. The cops wouldn't go through there. But on that day, bro, we went to go smoke a joint, and I was rolling it up or whatever. My boy's all like nervous and shit. I was like, "What's up, bro?" He kept like looking to the side. He's like, "Hey, bro, let's get the fuck out of here." I was like, "What are you talking about, bro?" And then like we start like looking all close, bro, and we see like a group of like 20 people, bro, standing around the fire on a grave. And you know, like, we got curious, bro, after we got high, and we went back to the cemetery, and we drove around that area where they're at, bro, and there was like 20 vatos, man, like, with brown robes. They had we couldn't see what the picture was, but it was a picture of something with the fire, and they're like dancing in circles, bro, doing chants and shit, bro.
Wow. And were you guys just watching them for a while, or what took place?
I mean, we're high, bro. We're young, bro. We're probably like 16, 17. We drove by and like pendejos, bro. We had our high beams on, bro, and when we passed by them, they fucking all turned around and we fucking dipped out, bro.
Okay.
But that's as far as that story goes, though.
Okay. And you had another one.
I got another quick story. This is a quick one, though, bro. It's on a positive note. One time we're going up to the river, bro, and me and a couple of my boys, and we're trying to drink up there and go, kick back, bro, enjoy summer. Well, what had happened, bro, make a long story short, bro, was the water was fast, bro, and I ended up getting pushed over like a waterfall, bro. They had probably like a 8 to 10 feet drop, but the pool they fell into was full of rocks, bro. And the water was probably like a good 15 feet deep.
Oh, wow.
So I fell in that hole, bro, after I went over the waterfall, and like, I shit you not, bro. And I was probably in the water for like a good 2 to 3 minutes, bro, under the water. And it came to the point, bro, where I shit you not, bro, I seen a white light, and I already kind of thought, bro, I accepted it, like, you know what, this is probably it, bro. I'm probably done for it. And right after I seen that white light, I was hit a rock with the back of my leg and kind of bounced myself like up. And I grabbed my boy's hand, bro, and I got saved right there, bro.
Interesting. Was that it, brother?
I want to give the other brother a chance to call. What was that, Tony?
No, you're in and out. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if you had anything else you were going to share.
Oh, no. Give the other callers a chance, bro, because I ain't going to lie, bro. I like hearing other people's stories, too, bro.
Yes, sir.
But I just want to share my quick...
Thank you for taking the time, brother. I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. You guys have a good one.
You too. Okay, let's keep it going, you guys. I have a lot of you guys that reach out to me during the week that say, I want to call in Freaky Tales, but I never get an opportunity. Right now, we have the chance. We have the opportunity to make those calls. So let's keep it going. And once again, let's see who this is. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is O from Peoria, Arizona.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's happening?
Just right here.
Getting some things from me. Yeah, I got a story.
Yes.
So this happened in Norwalk, California.
Yes.
And I live in Peoria right now, but sorry, hold on, 1 second. Sorry. Yeah, I live in Peoria right now. A little bit of backstory. I guess my house has been haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And oh shit! Hold up. I'll call right back.
Okay. Make sure that if you guys are gonna call, you guys got to set time that you guys I gotta share your story or ask a question. So let's see. Caller, your name and where are you calling from? Hello, caller. Okay, let's try that again. Here we go. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Tony? It's Lotus from West Texas.
Lotus from West Texas. How you doing today, sir?
Doing well, man. What's up?
Just right here, man. Just listening to these interesting phone calls, and the topic earlier was before technical difficulty. I had to repeat myself twice. The topic was red magic, which I just recently found out about. I didn't know too much about it, but other people have been calling in and elaborating on it, and some people have been sharing other freaky tales.
Yeah. I caught the last few callers that were talking about that. It's a pretty interesting subject. I had actually called in about something different, but nonetheless, kind of freaky.
Yes.
Have you heard anything about the rash of the mysterious fires and accidents at food processing plants?
Very briefly, I don't know too much about it, but please,
the
elaborate.
last one, the last one that happened was here in Texas. It killed like 18,000 head of cattle, and like all the other so-called accidents and chemical spills and everything we're hearing about lately, it does lead to wonder why. It does seem suspicious. There's been so many within a small window of time.
Yes.
Real quick, I want to tell you something about the Unit 731. It was a covert biological and chemical warfare research. Sorry, part of the Imperial Japanese Army around World War II, and they used to do experiments on Chinese prisoners of war. They inject them with diseases, control dehydration, biological weapons testing. They give them like venereal diseases on purpose just to see how the outcome would be. So they had this unit there, and one of their MOs for warfare was a biological weapon. And what they did back then, they'd go with these airplanes and spread they'd have these low-flying airplanes and spread plague-carrying fleas. They had the bubonic plague, and they drop them over populations of China using these defoliation bacilli bombs. And these are just like air balloons that were dropped with contagion, whether they were fleas or cholera,
wow,
typhoid, whatever.
So they would drop this stuff into wells, marshes, reservoirs. So my point in bringing up Unit 731 is that anyone going to war would be smart to use the biological route because it's so easy to produce. If you want to make if you want to infect a populace with any certain contagion, you don't have to spend millions of dollars. You can just look for another host and infect that host, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So what seems to be happening here is that somebody is trying to destroy our food source, our food sources, pollute our waters, and they can do it very quietly, very covertly, without anybody really, blinking an eye about it. And I just wondered if you had heard anything about it, or what your thoughts on these suspicious explosions and so-called accidents are.
Yeah, you know what, Ladis, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not too informed on that. I have heard about it, not much, but I'm glad you brought it up because you know what, it will provoke me to look into it a little bit more and maybe even touch on it more when Marvelous is here. But I really don't want to comment on it because I really don't know, and and that's the wisest answer that I can give you right now is I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, because of any effective war solution would be to starve people out of their own country.
Yes.
You can do that far easier than trying to shoot everybody or blow everybody up with a bomb. So quietly infecting the populace and then starving them out, taking their water resources and polluting it, that seems something that we should all be looking at as a possibility as to what's happening here. I thought I'd drop that on you. And,
thank you, Ladis.
I'm enjoying the show, and I appreciate you went live all of a sudden tonight.
Oh yes, it was like a last minute thing, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did because
hey.
Go ahead.
No, I was just, we had a delay on the phone.
Oh no, it's because of the you informed me tonight about something that I should be looking into a little bit more, so I will look into it. So I want to thank you for just bringing that topic up.
Oh, hey, thanks a lot, bro.
All right, take care. Later. Once again, guys, sometimes between calls there might be a little delay. So sometimes if you're going to call, don't look at your television and think you're going to be talking to me live. It doesn't work that way. But let's see. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hi.
Hello.
I'm calling from Vegas.
Yes. How you doing? You got a story,
Good.
a question, or a comment? I'm doing great.
Well, it's about the red magic. What else would you like to know about that?
Whatever you can enlighten us with, whatever you can inform us with. Is it somebody said earlier that no, it's meant for good. Some people have said no, it's black magic. It's part of black magic. So I've kind of got both sides today. Somebody called it sex magic. So
it's a bit of all of it.
Okay.
So magic in itself is not good or bad. That's what they teach in that spiritual realm of magic. It's not good or bad. It's the intention behind it and what you're using it for. I could send magic to somebody, but it could twist on them because what they have already have placed on them. So magic is not black and white. It goes very deep and it's very scary. There's so many people who tap into magic and have no idea what they're doing. They read a book and they think they know how to summon, a spell or whatnot. But it's all bad. It's all bad. And I practiced in all of it for about 20 years. There's so many things that if I were to tell you, most people won't even believe. Won't believe. Just because it's so far out there.
Yes.
But it's all true. I mean, I've experienced it. I've seen it with my own eyes. I felt it. But yes, red magic is also, a lot of women do it because it's also associated with womb magic. The the woman's womb and her menstrual cycle.
Oh, wow.
So if you're using it for good, we collect or used to collect your monthly cycle, and we would give it back to the earth. And giving it back to the earth, we must know directly what we're doing. Like, if you just go and dump your blood there, you're going to summon up a whole bunch of things that you have no control over. But if you go in there with intention and call upon certain names, then you're feeding that. You also have to ask the earth for permission, the trees. So it's like food for the earth, because in all of magic, it is Mother Nature, it's the earth, it's herbs, it's all of that mixed in one. So, and when it's used sexually, it should always be, the man has to always agree to it. You can't just, there are plenty of women who use it and don't inform their partner. But the women who do it, I guess I could say the right way, although it's all wrong. Every month he would search. Every month or every few months, he is looking for that partner. He has to willingly agree to give himself to her. And it's not about placing a spell on him, although that is used. It's more of her intentions, because when you connect with somebody and they're willing to, in that moment of climax, it's not about the rush of it. Because when you climax and you climax together, there's a point where your brain, you are, for the first time ever, everything shuts off. You are really in a different realm in those few moments, in those few seconds. So whatever her intentions are, she's manifesting them through those moments of nothingness. It's complete nothingness when you and your woman climax at the same time. It could also be a beautiful affair. But, yes, so the man has to be willing. He has to know what he's getting into. Although, like I said, a lot of women trick people. But if you were doing it right, which I don't even want to say right, because for years I've been trying to get out of this. And it's difficult because there's so many other things that I know that it's scary.
Yeah.
It's very scary. It's very deep and dark. And that's the thing, it's glamorized right now. It's been so all over the place that people think, oh, I could just tap in. No, you tapped in, you're tapped in. But you go further and further and deeper and deeper. There are also, this is why it's really good to have your babies at home, or you want your husband there when you're in the hospital delivering, because these Satanists, these people are in higher positions, very high positions. You would not be able to tell. You could look at somebody and they would look so beautiful, so professional, and you're just like, wow, wonder what they do, But those are the ones that are mostly very, very corrupt and very dark in it, especially if they have money. So it's important to have a man. Make sure your husband is there in the delivery room with you, because there are doctors, nurses, when the woman is out of it, because she's enduring so much pain, and she just wants to get it over with. They place spells on the child. and they have the mother will sign off unknowingly, sign off her baby to the Satanist, and it may not be that year, second year, third year, but in a few years they're going to come back and get that baby and use it for whatever blood sacrifices that they have planned. Everything is planned. They're very detailed. Let's see, what else?
You had mentioned that you had been in, I guess, practicing this for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ask you one question that somebody told me that they were in it for like 25 years or something like that. That this person told me that he just, all he said was this: I used to practice witchcraft. That's all he said. And then so I said, what is the difference now that you're out of it than when you were in it? And he said this: now I can sleep. Now I have peace. From your practices that you were involved in for 20 years, I know you say you go deeper, and then it goes darker, and it goes darker. I had a hard time understanding when he said, now I can sleep, now I have peace. Does that ring a bell at all?
Absolutely. When you open a door, you have no peace. I see. Back then, I thought I had peace, but I never slept a full night. Never slept a full night. I've seen the unseen. You don't have peace at night because you know what's in the dark. You know what's creeping around. You know what you did, and it always circles back. If you don't get it back in this life, then when Judgment Day comes and you haven't been forgiven, then it's going to come back to you. But it's always going to come back to you. Wow. So yes, you don't have peace. It took me to get out of that. It took me maybe, about 7 years, because it's terrifying. And depending on how deep and dark you are, or that what you were into, what you've seen, what you did, those demons don't want you to leave. They're going to torture you, torment you. You're going to see things that you wish you never saw. You're going to see things that people don't see. And this is the thing is, you're on the verge of going crazy. Because nobody will believe what you see. Wow. They see you reacting, and they're wondering, like, what the fuck, are you on drugs? And see, that's the thing. I never took mushrooms. And see, with the new age stuff, they're all about getting to a higher vibration, higher level, and they're using mushrooms. They're using all these other drugs.
Psychedelics.
I didn't have to use drugs. Yeah, I didn't have to, because I could just tap in. You could just tap into that stuff without even doing any of that.
Wow.
But yes, you have no peace. Even after you walk away from it, you have no peace, because, somebody's they don't want you to release any information. They don't want you to tell. And then, so they're constantly, finding a way to come to you, come in your area, just to check on you, so to speak.
Yes.
But it's scary, very, very scary, because they are people in high positions, high things that you probably think, oh, that's fucking bullshit.
Yes.
It's probably true. Even with there's something called, what is it called? There is that spirit cooking. There's a headquarters for spirit cooking where women, men go and learn how to use this magic using human flesh, human blood, you practice on animals, but then you graduate to the human. Don't know where they get them from. Mostly babies, mostly children.
Wow.
But there is a place, and it's a spirit cooking. You might want to look that up. I don't know if you can find anything on that.
Spirit cooking?
It's out there. Yeah.
I'll definitely.
You learn how to different entities, demons. It's directly summoning demons.
Wow.
So when I say there really is no white magic, it's not ever good. We think in the beginning, we think, well, I'm helping this person because I was a healer. At a young age, it started for me. So they kept telling me I'm chosen because at a very, very young age, it began happening to me. Things, I was speaking to spirits. I was seeing things. I was terrified. Nobody believed me. I went to psychiatrists. I went to doctors. I went to priests. And the older I got, and nobody could help me, then I just turned towards it. Nobody taught me it was spirit. It was demonic. It was Satan himself who taught me. And that's what I mean. See, it's going to be hard to believe. Because I was chosen for this. So they say, to be a healer, to be a shaman, to be this and that. So it started at a very young age. And I just continued out of fear because I got so tired of nobody being able to help people, no doctors, no psychiatrists, no priests. And then when I started to go deeper in it and just figure it out on my own, then I did have an exorcism. I had a couple. And it is a terrifying event. You're sick. I didn't even, so after the exorcism, I was so lost. I was so lost because all that was in me, all those demons and spirits leading me, I was empty, like empty. I couldn't eat. I was depressed. It was just horrible. The after, the effects of it after when I was free from it all. That was the hardest part. It's not because I was like so empty. And I was like, maybe I didn't want them to leave.
Yeah.
And I studied with a pastor, the one who did the exorcism, because that's the course of action, I guess. When, you're free from that, they know that you're going to be under heavy attack. So you kind of, you learn the Bible and they stick with you all, for, I think for about a year or so. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to do.
Okay. Well, you know what?
There's a lot more, but
yes, no, but it's a great way. It's a great way to wrap it up. Just like on a positive note, that you're out of it, and even though you went through a lot, I'm thankful that you called in and you shared your experiences, and hopefully, people can learn from this. People can hear this, and I'm sure there's people out there that have gone through a lot of the things that you went through. Maybe not necessarily exactly, but have similar experiences. Mm-hmm. And we're thankful, and I'm thankful that you called in and you shared this. So we want to thank you. Once again, have a blessed night. Thank you for calling Freaky Tales Podcast.
Thank you.
We appreciate you taking your time. Wow, I didn't want to stop her. I didn't want to stop because she had a lot of valuable information. I'm going to go back and listen to a lot of these. A lot of valuable information. So the lines are open. Once again, let's see. Call her your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, Tony. You can call me Bossy. I'm calling from Yuma, Arizona.
Hello, Bossy. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love your show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time and being a part of the show tonight. Was there a question, comment, or a story?
Well, I just wanted to pass on a little bit of my knowledge and maybe a quick little story. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know there's a lot of callers.
Yes.
Okay, so you asked about red magic. It's love binding magic. And what it is that I guess most of the women are the ones who practice it because most of the women are the ones who can go into more of an obsession mode than a man can.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay. Yeah, you said the last part.
Okay, hopefully.
That women go into more of an obsession mode than a man.
Yes.
Okay.
And so what happens is there's a difference between black magic, which is death binding magic, and then the red magic is love binding magic. So what they do is they wrap when they want to kill somebody spiritually and leave you lifeless, or actually kill you. They do black magic, and what they gather up a bundle of things, combining it with blood rituals which takes killing of an animal. And this is when you take an animal, you're borrowing a spirit from the earth, which is Mother Gaia. And the spirit of the earth, when you borrow the energy from it, it has an expiration date, it has consequence, and it can also have a boomerang effect. And the same thing goes for the love binding magic, which is red magic. What they do is, like a lady said, they'll take some of the woman's period biofluids from the male. Some of these love rituals, they're okay when you're doing it to your couple who you spoke to and you guys came up with an agreement that okay. And in order to enhance our relationship, we're going to do a love spell, a love binding spell, and we're both okay with it. But now the women who go obsessed over a guy that dumped them and don't want nothing with them, or the women who, let's say, fall in love with a coworker and the coworker doesn't know, but she's so madly in love with him that she wants to try to figure a way to how to get him.
Yes.
She will create this love binding bundle where depending if she's combining it with blood ritual, which could mean taking a heart of any type of animal. Sometimes they go to the how do they call those? The rastros, slaughterhouse.
Yes.
And they buy a heart from a pig, or a heart that belongs to, one of the animals, or sometimes they will kill a bird, they will kill a cat, or they'll use these to combine it. This will give more power to the ritual. Me, I don't practice that. I'm learning this esoteric kind of stuff. This is esoteric magic, and I don't advise anybody to do it because it does have an expiration date, it has a consequence, and it also has a boomerang effect. Any kind of magic, if you don't know what you're doing, yes, you can get in big trouble. If you hire somebody to do it, they're not going to tell you the consequences. They're just going to take your money. Like, for instance, I'll tell you a story that my sister just told me not too long ago.
Yes.
It was about this woman who wanted to do the same love binding magic she goes to this warlock and says, I want this guy no matter what. And he says, but I'm trying to explain to you the dangers of this. And she refused to listen. She says, I don't care how you do it, but I want you to do it. I want you to bind me with him, and I want him with me forever. And he says, okay. Well, he did the magic. And so what happened was that even though the magic did not harm the man she wanted, she was binded with Satan. So she was binded to who she thought it was, but all along was Satan looking like the man that she wanted.
Oh, wow.
And that this is dangerous. So sometimes people have to listen to the consequences to understand what they're doing. And when it comes to, using animals, it's just the saddest thing, because in Halloween, most of the witches and warlocks, they go crazy. They go to the Humane Society, or they get kittens, especially the black ones, when it is not the black cat that is evil. It is the person who is evil. They use the cat because cats are psychic, dogs are spiritual. And most of the time, many people reject the black cat, but actually, every animal in the places in this earth are the actual earth angels. We are the guests, and we're just passing by. These animals, they have many years of experiences in life. They don't just have 7, and the dogs don't just have 1. They have electromagnetic field super big. Electromagnetic field is an aura. They can cover their knowledge, and they're recording our experience. Like, let's say you have a dog in your house, they're recording everything that is going on in your life, and we don't know it, and nobody will ever know it except the animal, because they're the angels of the earth. And most of the witches know this, and so they take the cats and they do a lot of work with that, and many of them go crazy, and the number one thing they look for is love binding magic. And what they do is they'll take a picture of you and her, and she'll write something on a note. There'll be candles. There will be a menstrual period. If there was any action between you and her, she can collect the biofluid and combine that too, and use that. And then that's what they call an amarre. Now, if you find out that you're acting weird, that you're not feeling okay, that you're going crazy over this woman, and you're just obsessed with her, but you don't know how, and then you go to a warlock or a brujo to remove this, it's called a rompimiento. Okay. He will rip all of that she put on you.
Wow.
Do you follow so far?
Yes. You know what? I want to say something very interesting. Last week, you when you called and we spoke, I'm glad you called, and you said something at the very, very end. You said, "Oh, I'm glad you got out of that thing with that girl." Okay. Do you remember that? Okay. She had mentioned, and I know I'm saying this because I know she's watching. Okay. It took me a long time to understand this, but I had certain people that didn't know me that would walk up to me and tell me, "This person, somebody tried to put a curse on you." And I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, but they can't touch you." Several different people. Now, this person had told me, this female had told me that her uncle's the biggest brujo in the San Fernando Valley. I don't even care about all that bruja stuff or brujo stuff. And
Right.
she would brag about I could curse, or he can curse, or I can do this, or he can do that, or whatever. So it kind of made sense that when these people told me there's somebody trying to put a curse on you, and then one female actually told me, and it's a woman. It all just made sense that this person is obsessed, because one thing that a lot of people do not know is that this person has not left me alone. She just continues and continues and continues. But go ahead.
hmm But you're still standing, Tony. You
Yes.
know why? Because you believe in God, and when you say, I don't believe in this brujeria, that is the perfect thing we all have to do. We can't, if we say, yeah, I mean, I'm afraid of her, she's going to harm me, you're giving it power. But if you say, I don't believe in none of this, I'm not going to give it any power, it's not going to harm you. And there is prayers, Psalms 23rd, Psalms 91, Psalms, I believe 132, I believe. And there's also San Benito, and you can buy the San Benito medalla, and you can either wear it as a pin, you can either wear it as with a chain. And what San Benito, he used to be a priest that used to practice exorcism, and so his prayers are very powerful, and
Yes.
they have to do with any type of magic. Yes, I heard you talk about this I've been following you for the past 4 months, and so I heard you explain this experience around this time, and that's what I picked up on. And so you're from I'm guiding myself from what I'm just picking up. I have to be honest with you, I'm barely starting. I was told in the past that I was going to be prepared for this, but it's as if I am just being initiated. I feel like I'm being initiated to the gang of spirits. So I should call myself a spiritual gangster, right?
Yes.
So I'll be honest, I don't know it all. I will share what I understand and what I'm picking up. I will not bring you no false information. I will not misguide you, because I don't want to give myself a bad name from the start. But yes, I do pick up that you do have several ancestors and loved ones protecting you, and because you're very well in tune with your intuition. Intuition, what it means is what lo que presientes, what you sense that is happening, something that just is not vibing in the right way in what you're used to. You sense something, and so you were able to pick it up, like that one experience too, where you said that in your younger years, some woman set you up in a car, and that you guys were out in a car, that you were in the car, and that you had to like get out of that on time before the guys that she set you up with. If you wouldn't have gotten out of there,
Yeah, she took me
you
to
would have been
a
in big
party.
trouble, something like that.
Yeah, she took me to a party,
Yeah.
and before I just sensed it that it was a setup, and I got out and I ran across the street, hit across in a bush, and these guys came out and they asked her, "Where's he at?" And she said, "He's in the car," but I wasn't there anymore.
Right. And see, here's the thing. Yeah, you have your ancestors and your loved ones, and because you're the sign of Pisces, Pisceans are very psychic, even if they don't know it. They're very psychic. They're very in tune with their su presentimiento. Like,
Yes.
they sienten algo, they pick it up, and they act upon it right away.
Yes.
Now, I wanted to go just very quick into the witches. There's many type of witches.
Okay.
Believe it or not, that there's green witches, which deals with herbs and teas, anything healthy, plants. like for instance, if you go to a green witch and you ask her, okay, how do I take brujeria out of my house or anything that may be roaming around with greenery? She's going to tell you, buy a plant of aloe vera and put it in there. That's one of the best powerful plants that you can put in your home to absorb any bad energy that you're sensing. And how do you sense bad energy inside your home? Well, what's happening is that there's arguments, fights, you guys disagree on things, not being able to sleep, any like infestations of rats or roaches, and including piojos. When piojos attack an adult, that's witchcraft.
Didn't know that.
When roach infestation, witchcraft. Including, and now that everybody in the chat asks for sleep paralysis, it has to do with women and witchcraft. It has to do with one of the factors, one of the many factors, because there's many reasons why you will experience sleep paralysis. You can have sleep paralysis by having a very heavy dinner.
Okay. Bossy, listen.
You can have.
Bossy, I'm sorry to cut you short, but it's just that we have 10 more minutes, and I'm trying to get some more callers in here. Can you do me one big favor? Right. We are going live next Friday. Can you please call in and continue? Can you please do that?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Bossy. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. That was our longest phone call. That was 17 minutes. The one prior was 15 minutes. So I'm trying to be mindful. So please forgive me, you guys, if you guys think I was being rude. Some people say, let the phone calls go longer. Some people say, cut it short. I'm trying to be mindful of all the other callers. So please, but honestly, Bossy, very, very informative information. Thank you. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
What up, Tony? This is JEDI from Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita. What's up, my brother? You have a question, comment, or a story you want to share?
Yeah, I have a story. It has to do with shadow people.
Okay.
So a few years back, I was kicking with a couple of friends, we're kicking in a garage. We're hanging out.
Yes.
We're smoking weed and just chilling. It was like getting close to 1 in the morning. So there was this guy right there hanging out. He'd been crashing there in this garage, and there's guys playing video games, guys on their phone, and I'm just observing them,
Yes.
It looks like he's been sleep deprived, or you could tell, so he was just nodding out. It looked like he was ready to nod out.
Yes.
So as I'm just looking around, I started noticing the smoke in the room because it was hot box. I would see it going in spirals, in midair, just circular motion. But throughout the smoke, I would see movement, your shadow, but no one's standing up or anything. Everyone's sitting down. So it would look like shadows were moving. So I'm just looking around, and I started noticing how these shadows were moving slowly around us, and I'm yo, this isn't normal,
Yeah.
But as I'm paying attention to this, I start in my head, I'm yo, maybe I'm not tripping out or something. But at the same time, I don't know how to address the situation,
Yes.
People are on their phones, people are playing. And so eventually I see this guy, his head fell forward and he fell asleep. And these things that were circling us, these shadows, whenever they would get close, I would feel my skin, I would get goosebumps and chills.
Wow.
So when he fell asleep, I saw how these shadow things, they rushed over to him. And from my point of view, they looked like they dove into his body. So as this person, as I'm seeing this happening,
yes,
I'm just I'm just focused on seeing it, but at the same time, I'm trying to not see it. So when this guy lifted up his head, like a few minutes later, he had like this look on him. He was like grinning, like smiling, but like it was a creepy one.
Yeah.
And I was just like staring at him, but he had like automatically, I felt like I didn't want to be around him. And then like everything about him like changed, like throughout, like after that moment, like he wasn't the same anymore, like, and I disassociated with that person.
Yeah.
Because like everything was negative, like with people like will bring him up, I'll be like, yeah, I don't want to go kick it over there if he's there, or like, and people started disassociating with him.
Yeah.
And he just went like downhill from there on.
Wow. And how long ago was this?
This was probably like back in 2015.
2015. Wow. Have you ever experienced anything like that ever since?
I can say I've had several different like experiences, but not something like that, like witnessing it.
Right.
I mean, like I've heard like probably like things like at night, like I've heard like say a voice, but I'm like, nah, it was probably like just like, in my head or something.
Yeah.
Or not, but like you could like sense sometimes like when, like you're in places and like either you could hear like something move or just something, you could feel that something's not right,
Right. Wow. Well, thank you, caller, for calling in and sharing that, man. I appreciate that.
No, for sure, Tony. Hey, have a good one.
You too, my bro. Thank you. Very, very interesting phone calls today, you guys. We're going to take one more, and then we'll call it a night. I want to thank everybody once again for calling in. Very, very interesting, very, very informative. And I want to, like I said, thank you guys for taking the time and calling in. So we're going to take one more last phone call, and then we'll call it a night. If I don't get a phone call within the next minute or so, we'll just cut it short. But we're giving everybody an opportunity to call in and share their freaky tales or share their freaky experiences, or if they have a question or anything they want to share or say or whatnot. Okay. So let's go ahead. Our last caller right here. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
I got a question.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
It sounds very, very, I guess, it's not clear.
My bad, I had it on the Bluetooth.
Okay, I can hear you.
I was going to ask you, do you believe in prayer? Like, like when people pray for you or pray over you?
Yes, I definitely do believe in prayer. Now, if you want to get specific and who, I just wouldn't allow just anybody just to pray over me if that's what you're asking. No, I wouldn't. I have my own prayer life.
Why?
Because I don't know what they believe in.
Okay. That was kind of like my next question. Like, if you believe in prayer, like, what, like, is there a specific type of prayer that, you know what I mean? Like, because everybody prays different. Everybody prays to, different people.
Well,
so, you know what I mean? Like, what would be the correct prayer?
Okay, I'll give
in
you
your eyes.
Okay, in my eyes is I believe in the God of the Bible. That's who I pray to. So I've studied it long enough. I have at least about 30 years in studying. And and I'm going to say this very boldly, okay? And I don't call myself a Christian, I don't. But I do call myself a believer in the scriptures. And I'm very bold about that. Now, people have approached me because whenever I make that statement, and they say, they'll either mock me or they'll try to challenge me. The Bible's full of contradictions. And then after a while, they just get really, really angry with me because I believe in the Bible. They tell me it's a lie, and I always answer them. I don't argue with them, but I tell them, if it's a lie, why are you mad? If it's a lie, why are you mad?
Right.
Well, I'm an atheist, and I don't believe in God. Well, if there's no God, then why are you mad? If there's no God, then why you call yourself an atheist? So I'll respect what you believe and respect what I believe, and we'll leave it at that. But it's always, I believe it's the people that believe in the Bible are the ones that get attacked. Give an example. You could have a Muslim, you could have a Hindu, you could have a Buddhist, you could have a Mormon, Jehovah's Witnesses, and everybody leaves them alone. But the moment that you say you believe in the Bible, then you get attacked. And I'm used to it, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. What you call it? What about like if your mom prayed for you? What do you think about that? Do you think like that has a powerful you know what I mean?
Look.
When like your mom prayed for you.
Look, let me share this with you, okay? And I think most women, most men would understand this. If you have a praying mother, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, okay? My mother believed in God, and my mother would always pray over me. As a matter of fact, before my mother passed away, my mother actually told me, I have prayed for you so much that even after I'm gone, God will still protect you.
Right. I have, like my mom's not real religious, but like, you know what I mean? She prays a lot and everything like that. And 5 years ago I had a real bad accident, and they were trying to, pretty much blame it on me, and I had to go through, courts and everything like that, which I'm still, kind of going through it. And what the lawyer told me that I was, potentially facing, it was like 5 to like 10 years or some shit like that. And towards one of my, like the ending of my visit with him, he's all like, you know what, man, it's so crazy that they haven't filed any charges against you or anything like that. That the detectives didn't show up to the hearings.
Yeah.
And everything like that. He's like, you must have somebody really praying over you or an angel over you, because this is really unheard of. And with statutes of limitation and everything like that, like, I got one year left for that basically to clear and stuff. But it's crazy because my mom, really prayed for me during that time, and along, with a few of my tias and everything like that, and it's crazy because I really think that all those prayers really did help.
No, there is power in prayer. Let me tell you something, and I think most mothers would understand this, that I always felt for some reason that mothers have a great connection with God, because the way a mother prays over her children, it's something that I believe that touches God. I truly, truly do believe that. And I had a praying mother, and I'm thankful. I had a praying father as well. I like to say this, and I'll say this. I've said it before. I was raised right. I just chose to do wrong all on my own. So whenever I got in trouble, my mother would always tell me, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. So.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Hey, man, hopefully that answers your question, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Good looking out.
Oh, good. Anything else you want to say? You're the last caller, my bro. Oh, you hung up. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for calling in. That was the last call. We could take these off. Okay, you guys, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to all of you guys that called in. Alex or Norbert, if there's anything else you want to share before I give my shout outs, please, let's do that. Take care of that now.
All right. So we've had people ask for the Freaky Tales podcast to be in audio form. And I just wanted to inform anybody that's listening to this, that you can now go to Freaky Tales page here on YouTube and go on the playlist section. And then you could hear all the episodes of Freaky Tales without your phone being on. You just got to go to the playlist for Freaky Tales and choose whichever you want, and now you'll be able to listen to them without having your phone on the whole time.
Yes.
I know a lot of people have requested that, and now YouTube has made it possible for everyone to listen to it. That's
awesome. Anything else, or we're good?
We're good.
Okay. Lattice, hold on. Lattice asks, what about mothers who abort their babies? Lattice, I want you to call next week and ask me that question, because I can answer that question. So thank you for that. Go ahead.
We had a question. They said we had 149 votes. The question is, would you want to become a member to support Freaky Tales podcast? 48% said, hell yeah, count me in. 32% said maybe, depends how much. And 20% said no thanks.
Awesome. For all those answers. Other than that, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give my shout outs. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody in the live chat, everybody who called in. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to the podcast, everybody who follows me on Freaky Tales podcast, but also follow me on Tony A. The Wiz on Instagram, or just Tony Alvarez on Facebook. You can follow me there as well. So I want to thank you guys. I'm going to try to go live once again next week. I'm trying to do this as much as possible. I'm really enjoying the phone calls. People call in, they pour their hearts out, they share their stories, they share their experiences. I want to thank all of you guys. And please, callers, for those of you that I had to cut short, please understand that when we go over like the 10 minutes, I cannot go that much longer because I'm trying to be mindful of the caller. So I hope you guys understand that. But I allowed it, so we did it. Other than that, if I told you to call back next week, please call back next week. Other than that, I want to thank Alex Cervantes Enterprise. I want to thank Norbert, News of Norbies. We were live last night. Make sure you check that out. I had a great time. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. You know, it's funny because somebody DM'd me today and said, why are you always arguing or yelling at Norbert? Our personalities come out, when we don't see eye to eye on things, but that doesn't mean we don't get along. It's a show. Remember that. It's a show. Also, I want to thank my son B. Scanless, and I also want to thank the Hip Hop Jedi. Other than that, I don't know if you can bring up the flyer if we have it available. I just did a episode with JR and the crew. We did a interview, and I spoke on some things that I hadn't spoke about in about a year. I think it's very, very important that you guys listen to that. It's from JR and the crew on YouTube. So we're going to put up the flyer if we have it available. Okay, and we have a link also. JR and the crew, check out. It's the last episode, I believe, that they did. I'm on it. And you really have to listen to it because I said some stuff, especially towards the end, that I think you guys should be aware of. So thank you. And once again, thank all you callers. Thank you, the moderators. Thank everyone. We'll be back next week. And Sunday, I'll be on my other podcast. So if you could put up the flyer and the link,